There are people walking among us who feel as though they don't quite belong here. Not in a lonely way, not in a lost way, but in a way that whispers of something older, something deeper, something that stretches far beyond this single lifetime. If you have ever looked at the world and felt a strange sense of having seen it all before, if you have carried a heaviness you cannot name, or if certain places, people, or moments bring you to tears for no reason you can explain, then this message is for you. Because according to Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet and one of the most documented psychic voices of the 20th century, these are not accidents. They are not coincidences. They are signs. Hidden signs that your soul has traveled this world not once, not twice, but hundreds of times. Edgar Cayce gave over 14,000 readings in his lifetime, and in those readings, he spoke often of reincarnation, of souls returning again and again to learn, to heal, to grow. But he also spoke of something rarer, something few people truly understood. He spoke of the old souls, the ones who have been here so many times that the earth itself feels familiar, the ones who carry memories they cannot see but somehow feel, the ones who seem wise beyond their years, tired beyond their age, and strangely out of place in a world that moves too fast and cares too little. If that sounds like you, then you are not broken, you are not weak, you are not imagining things, you are simply remembering. Your soul is remembering. And today, we are going to walk through 9 hidden signs that reveal the truth of who you really are. 9 signs that your soul has lived hundreds of lives. 9 signs that you are here for a reason far greater than you may have ever realized. Let us begin with the first sign, a sign so quiet that most people never notice it, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. The first sign is this: you feel older than your body. Not in pain, not in sickness, but in spirit. There is a heaviness to you, a depth, a way of seeing the world that others your age simply do not have. When people speak to you, they often say things like, "You seem so much older," or "You have an old soul," or "I feel like I can tell you anything." And they do. Strangers open up to you. Children stare at you. Animals come to you without fear. It is as though something in you radiates a calm, ancient knowing that others can sense but not name. Edgar Cayce said that souls who have lived many lifetimes carry what he called soul memory. It is not a memory of specific events. It is not like remembering what you ate yesterday. It is deeper. It is a memory of essence, of pattern, of feeling. You have been the mother who lost a child. You have been the healer who could not save everyone.
You have been the teacher, the wanderer, the warrior, the mystic. And all of that lives inside you now, not as thought, but as presence, as weight, as wisdom that was never taught to you in this life, but has always been there. The second sign is closely related, and it is this: you are drawn to certain time periods or places you have never been. Maybe it is ancient Egypt. Maybe it is medieval Europe. Maybe it is the deserts of the Middle East or the temples of Asia. But whatever it is, the pull is strong. It is not just interest, it is recognition. You see images of these places and something inside you stirs. You hear music from another century and tears rise without reason. You read about a certain culture, a certain war, a certain spiritual practice, and it feels like coming home. Cayce explained that the soul does not forget where it has been. Even when the mind has no memory, the soul keeps a record. He called this the Akashic Records, a kind of cosmic library where every life, every choice, every lesson is stored. And when your soul recognizes something from a past life, it sends you a signal, a feeling, a pull, a deep sense of familiarity that logic cannot explain. This is not fantasy. This is not imagination. This is your soul speaking to you across time. The third sign is one that many people struggle with, and it is this: you feel deeply uncomfortable with injustice, cruelty, or dishonesty. Not just uncomfortable, it disturbs you on a level that seems out of proportion. You see someone being treated poorly, and your chest tightens. You hear about violence or corruption, and you feel it in your body. You cannot understand how people can be so cold, so selfish, so blind. and you carry a frustration that the world is not the way it should be, that people do not care the way they should care, that love and truth and kindness are not valued the way they must be. Edgar Cayce taught that old souls often come back with what he called karmic sensitivity. Because you have lived so many lives, you have experienced both sides. You have been the victim and the oppressor. You have been the one who was hurt and the one who caused harm. And because of that, your soul now reacts strongly to injustice. It is not weakness, it is awareness. It is the deep knowing that every action has a consequence, that every cruelty leaves a mark, that every lie distorts the truth. And your soul, having seen it all, cannot ignore it anymore. The fourth sign is both beautiful and painful. You have vivid, symbolic, or recurring dreams. Dreams that feel more real than waking life. Dreams where you are someone else, somewhere else, speaking a language you do not know, wearing clothes you have never seen, living in a world that no longer exists.
And when you wake, the feeling lingers, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days. You are left with a strange ache, a longing, a sense that you have touched something true and then lost it again. Cayce said that dreams are one of the primary ways the soul communicates, especially for those who have lived many times. In sleep, the veil is thinner, the conscious mind steps aside, and the soul is free to remember, to revisit, to process. He believed that recurring dreams in particular were often memories of past life traumas or unfinished lessons. The soul brings them forward not to torture you, but to heal you, to help you see patterns, to help you release what no longer serves you. So if your dreams feel strange, powerful, or impossibly real, do not dismiss them. They are not random. They are messages, and your soul is asking you to listen. The fifth sign is one that isolates many people, but it should not. It is this: you often feel alone, even in a crowd. You can be surrounded by friends, family, laughter, and noise, and still feel a deep, quiet loneliness. Not because people do not love you, but because they do not understand you. They do not see the world the way you do. They do not feel the weight you feel. They do not ask the questions you ask. And so you learn to stay quiet, to smile, to nod, to play along. But inside, you are always a little bit separate, always a little bit apart. Edgar Cayce spoke often about this. He said that old souls incarnate into a world that is not ready for them, that most people are still learning lessons you have already lived through. And because of that, you may feel out of sync, out of step, like you are living in a different frequency. But this is not a curse, it is a calling, because the very thing that makes you feel different is the thing that makes you powerful. You see what others cannot see, you feel what others cannot feel, and that makes you a bridge, a guide, a light in the dark for those who are ready to awaken. The sixth sign is subtle, but unmistakable once you notice it. You have an instinctive understanding of spiritual or metaphysical concepts. Things that other people find confusing or hard to believe feel natural to you. The idea of energy, the law of karma, the existence of the soul, life after death, past lives. These are not strange ideas to you. They are not theories you have to be convinced of. They simply make sense. In fact, they make more sense than much of what the world tries to teach you. You may have grown up in a religious home or no religious home at all, but somewhere inside you, there has always been a quiet knowing, a trust in something greater, a belief that this life is just one chapter in a much longer story. Cayce said that souls who have lived many lifetimes often carry forward what he called soul knowledge. It is not learned in books. It is not taught in schools. It is earned through experience, through living and dying and living again. And when you return, that knowledge does not disappear. It settles into your intuition, into your gut feelings, into the way you see the world. So when someone talks about auras or chakras or reincarnation, and you feel that spark of recognition, that is not coincidence. That is memory, your soul remembering what it has always known. The seventh sign is one of the most painful, and it is this: you have experienced deep grief, loss, illness, or trauma, often early in life. Maybe you lost someone you loved when you were young. Maybe you faced illness that others could not understand. Maybe you were betrayed, abandoned, or hurt in ways that shaped you forever. And while others might say you were unlucky, Edgar Cayce would say something different. He would say you were chosen, not punished, chosen.
Because old souls do not come here for easy lives. They come here to heal, to teach, to transform, and that requires going through the fire. Cayce taught that many old souls choose difficult incarnations on purpose. Before you were born, your soul looked at the lessons it still needed to learn, the karma it still needed to balance, the healing it still needed to complete, and it chose this life, with all its challenges, because it knew that only through struggle could it grow. This does not make the pain less real, but it does give it meaning. It tells you that your suffering was not random, it was not a mistake. It was part of your soul's curriculum, and every tear you have cried, every loss you have survived, every dark night you have endured has made you stronger, wiser, and more awake than most people will ever be. The eighth sign is quieter, but just as powerful. You are deeply drawn to healing, teaching, or helping others, not because you want attention, not because you want praise, but because something inside you cannot rest when others are in pain. You feel called to ease suffering, to offer comfort, to share wisdom, to hold space, even when it costs you, even when it drains you, even when no one thanks you. You do it anyway, because it feels like the only thing that matters, the only thing that makes sense, the only reason you are here. Cayce believed that many old souls return to Earth as what he called service souls. These are souls who have lived enough lives to understand the game, to see through the illusions, to know that power, money, and fame are temporary, and so they choose a different path, a path of compassion, a path of giving, a path of love.
If you have always felt pulled toward the healer, the teacher, the counselor, the guide, then this is not a hobby, it is not a phase, it is your soul's mission. And the fact that you feel it so deeply means you have done this work before, many times, in many forms, and you have returned to do it again. The ninth and final sign is the most telling of all. You feel a deep, unexplainable homesickness for a place that is not here, not a place on Earth, but somewhere else, somewhere beyond. You look at the stars and feel a pull. You sit in silence and feel a longing. You close your eyes and sense a vastness that this world cannot contain. It is not depression. It is not escapism. It is a soul-level memory of where you came from, a memory of the place you return to between lives, the place Edgar Cayce called the interlife, the place where souls rest, reflect, and prepare for the next journey. Cayce said that old souls often feel this homesickness more strongly than others because they have been to that place so many times. They have experienced the peace, the love, the clarity that exists beyond the physical world. And coming back into a body, into a world of pain and noise and confusion, can feel like a kind of exile. But here is what Cayce also said. That homesickness is not meant to make you give up. It is meant to remind you of who you really are. To remind you that you are not just a body. You are not just a name. You are a soul. An eternal, powerful, limitless soul. And this life, no matter how hard it feels, is just one stop on an infinite journey. So what does it mean if you recognize these signs in yourself? What does it mean if you have felt older than your years, drawn to ancient places, disturbed by cruelty, moved by dreams, isolated in crowds, spiritually awake, shaped by grief, called to serve, and homesick for the stars? It means you are not imagining things. It means you are not broken. It means you are exactly who Edgar Cayce described. An old soul. A soul that has been here hundreds of times. A soul that has seen empires rise and fall. A soul that has loved and lost, and learned and returned. A soul that carries within it the wisdom of ages. But here is the most important part. Cayce did not say this just to make you feel special. He said it to remind you of your responsibility. Because with great soul age comes great soul purpose. You are not here by accident. You are not here to waste time. You are not here to numb yourself or distract yourself, or live a small, quiet life and hope no one notices you. You are here to wake up, to remember, to heal, to teach, to love, to serve, to break the patterns that have held you back for lifetimes, to finish what you started long ago, to become the fullest, truest, most awakened version of yourself.
And that brings us to the final teaching, the one Edgar Cayce said was the most important of all. How do you use this lifetime to break the cycle? How do you stop repeating the same lessons over and over? How do you finally graduate from the school of earth and move on to the next level of soul evolution? Cayce gave a clear answer, and it is simpler than you might think, but it is not easy. The answer is this: you must learn to love without condition. You must learn to forgive without limit. And you must learn to serve without expecting anything in return. That is it. That is the whole lesson. Every lifetime you have lived, every challenge you have faced, every relationship you have struggled through has been teaching you those three things: love, forgiveness, service. And if you can master those in this lifetime, if you can truly embody them, not just in words but in actions, then you will not need to come back. You will have learned what Earth has to teach, and your soul will be free to move on, to explore new realms, to serve in new ways, to continue its journey in dimensions beyond this one. But let us be honest, this is not easy work, because love is hard when people hurt you, forgiveness is hard when the wounds run deep, and service is hard when you are exhausted, drained, and carrying your own pain. Cayce knew this. He did not offer spiritual teachings as if they were simple formulas. He spoke from a place of deep compassion. He understood that old souls suffer, that they carry burdens others do not see, that they walk through this world with eyes wide open, feeling everything, seeing everything, unable to look away.
But he also said this, that the very things that make life hardest for you are the things that prepare you for your true purpose. That every moment of grief has softened your heart. That every moment of loneliness has deepened your empathy. That every moment of confusion has sharpened your intuition. You are not weak because you feel so much. You are powerful because you feel so much. And the world needs that power, now more than ever. So what do you do with this knowledge? How do you move forward now that you know the truth? First, you stop judging yourself. You stop thinking something is wrong with you because you do not fit in. You stop apologizing for being sensitive, for being deep, for caring too much. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. You are exactly what you are meant to be. And the people who do not understand you are simply not at the same stage of the journey. That does not make them bad, it just makes them different. And that is okay. Second, you start paying attention to the patterns in your life, the repeating themes, the recurring struggles, the same types of relationships, the same types of challenges. Cayce said that these patterns are not punishments, they are lessons, and they will keep showing up until you learn them. So instead of running from them, lean into them. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What part of me is still unhealed? What belief am I holding on to that no longer serves me? What do I need to forgive? What do I need to release? The answers are already inside you. You just have to be willing to look. Third, you honor your gifts. You stop hiding. You stop playing small. You stop pretending you are less than you are. If you are a healer, heal. If you are a teacher, teach. If you are a guide, guide. The world does not need you to shrink. The world needs you to rise, to step into your role, to claim your purpose. Because there are people out there right now who are lost, who are suffering, who are searching for someone who understands. And that someone is you. You are the one they are waiting for. You are the one who can reach them in ways no one else can. Because you have been where they are. You have felt what they feel. And you have the wisdom, the compassion, and the strength to help them find their way. Fourth, you make peace with your past. All of it. Not just this lifetime, but all the lifetimes you have lived. Cayce taught that unresolved karma follows you from life to life. That grudges, regrets, guilt, and shame do not disappear just because you die. They stay with you. They weigh you down. They shape the life you are born into next. So if you want to break the cycle, you have to clear the slate. You have to forgive yourself for every mistake you have ever made.
You have to forgive every person who has ever hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free. Forgiveness is not about them, it is about you. It is about releasing the chains that bind your soul. It is about choosing love over fear, light over darkness, freedom over bondage. And finally, you trust the process. You trust that your soul knows what it is doing, that it chose this life for a reason, that every challenge, every heartbreak, every moment of doubt is part of the design. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are exactly where you need to be. And everything you have been through has been preparing you for what comes next. So stop resisting. Stop fighting. Stop wishing your life were different. Embrace it, all of it. The pain and the beauty. The darkness and the light. The struggle and the grace. Because it is all part of your journey. And your journey is sacred. Edgar Cayce spent his life helping people see the truth of who they are. He looked into the souls of thousands of people and told them what he saw. He told them where they had been, what they had learned, what they had yet to heal. And over again, he said the same thing. You are so much more than you think you are. You are ancient. You are powerful. You are loved beyond measure. And you are here for a reason that matters, a reason that will change lives, a reason that will ripple out into eternity. So if you have felt different your whole life, if you have carried a weight you cannot name, if you have looked at the stars and felt a pull you cannot explain, then listen to these words. You are not broken. You are awake. You are not lost. You are found. You are not alone. You are surrounded by the love and guidance of every soul who has walked this path before you. And you are not here by accident. You are here by design. Your soul chose this life. Your soul chose this moment. And your soul is asking you now to remember, to rise, to become who you are always meant to be. This is your time. This is your life. This is your chance to break the cycle, to heal the wounds, to complete the mission, to love without condition, to forgive without limit, to serve without expecting anything in return. And when you do, when you finally embody the truth of who you are, something miraculous will happen. The weight will lift, the loneliness will fade, the homesickness will transform into a deep, abiding peace, because you will finally understand, you will finally see, that you are never separate from home, that home was never a place. It was always a state of being, a state of love, a state of grace, a state of oneness with all that is. And in that moment, you will know.
You will know that every life you have lived, every lesson you have learned, every tear you have cried has led you here, to this moment, to this awakening, to this truth. That you are not just a soul who has lived hundreds of lives. You are a soul who has chosen, again and again, to return to this world. Not because you had to, but because you wanted to. Because you saw the suffering and you said, I will help. You saw the darkness and you said, I will bring light. You saw the brokenness and you said, I will heal. That is who you are. That is what you have always been. And that is what you will always be. A soul of service, a soul of love, a soul of infinite courage and infinite compassion. And the world is waiting for you. Not the version of you that hides, not the version of you that doubts, but the version of you that remembers, the version of you that knows, the version of you that stands in the fullness of your power and says, I am here, I am awake, and I am ready. So take a deep breath, let these words settle into your heart, and know that you are seen, you are known, you are loved, and you are exactly where you need to be. Now, let us talk about what happens next, because awareness is only the beginning. Knowing that you are an old soul is not the end of the journey. It is the start of a new one, a conscious one, a purposeful one. And that is where the real work begins. Because once you know who you are, you can no longer pretend. You can no longer sleepwalk through life. You can no longer ignore the call of your soul. The question is no longer, who am I? The question becomes, what will I do with this knowledge? Edgar Cayce said that awareness brings responsibility, and responsibility brings choice. You can choose to ignore what you now know. You can choose to go back to sleep, to numb yourself, to distract yourself, to live a small, safe life and hope the call goes away. But it will not. The call never goes away. It only gets louder, more urgent, more impossible to ignore. Because your soul did not come here to hide. It came here to shine. And it will keep nudging you,
pulling you, waking you up in the middle of the night, until you finally listen. So what does it mean to listen? It means you start living differently. You start making choices that align with your soul instead of your fear. You start saying yes to the things that light you up, and no to the things that drain you. You start honoring your intuition, trusting your feelings, following the pull even when it does not make sense to anyone else. Because you are not living for anyone else anymore. You are living for your soul, and your soul knows the way. This might mean big changes. It might mean leaving relationships that no longer serve you, jobs that no longer fulfill you,
Beliefs that no longer resonate with you. It might mean stepping into roles you never imagined for yourself, speaking truths you were taught to keep quiet, becoming visible in ways that feel vulnerable and terrifying. But here is what Cayce promised. When you align with your soul's purpose, the universe supports you. Doors open, people appear, resources flow. Not because life becomes easy, but because you are finally moving in the right direction, and the universe rewards that. But let us also be clear about something. Living as an old soul in this world is not always comfortable. In fact, it is often deeply uncomfortable. Because you see things others do not see. You feel things others do not feel. And that can make you an outsider. It can make you the one who does not laugh at the joke, the one who questions the system, the one who cannot pretend everything is fine when it is not. And people will not always understand that. Some will call you too sensitive, too serious, too intense, too much. And you will have to learn to be okay with that. Because your job is not to make everyone comfortable. Your job is to stay true to yourself, to your soul, to your mission. Cayce also warned about something important. He said that old souls often face what he called spiritual opposition, not from the universe, but from the forces that do not want you to wake up, the forces that benefit from you staying small, distracted, and disconnected. These forces show up in many forms: doubt, fear, shame, guilt, addiction, illness, toxic relationships, endless distractions. And they are not random, they are targeted. Because when an old soul wakes up and steps into their power, they become a force for change, a force for truth, a force for love. And that threatens everything built on lies, control, and fear. So you have to protect yourself. You have to guard your energy. You have to surround yourself with people who see you, support you, and believe in you. And you have to be willing to walk alone when necessary. Because not everyone is meant to come with you on this journey. Some people are only in your life for a season, to teach you a lesson, to reflect something back to you, to help you grow. And when that season is over, you have to let them go. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with gratitude and grace. Because they played their part, and now it is time for you to move forward. One of the most important teachings Cayce gave about old souls is this: you are not here to save everyone. You are not here to fix everyone. You are not here to convince everyone. You are here to be a light, a beacon, an example. And those who are ready will see you. They will feel you. They will be drawn to you. And you will know them when you meet them. There will be a recognition,
a resonance, a sense of coming home. And those are the people you are meant to serve. Those are the people you are meant to teach. Those are the people you are meant to walk beside. Everyone else, let them be. Let them live their lives. Let them learn their lessons. Let them move at their own pace. Because the greatest gift you can give another soul is the freedom to choose their own path, even if that path leads them away from you, even if that path takes them through pain, even if you can see exactly what they need and they refuse to see it. Your job is not to force awakening. Your job is to embody it and trust that your light will reach exactly who it is meant to reach. Now, let us talk about breaking the cycle, because that is what this is really about. You have lived hundreds of lives. You have played every role, learned countless lessons, experienced every kind of joy and every kind of suffering. And now you are here, in this life, with a chance to bring it all together, to integrate everything you have learned, to heal everything that still hurts, to complete everything that remains unfinished. This is your opportunity, and it will not come again in the same way. So how do you use it? Cayce gave very specific guidance. He said that breaking the cycle requires 3 things: self-awareness, self-forgiveness, and selfless service. Let us break those down. Self-awareness means you must know yourself completely, not just the parts you like, not just the parts you show the world, but all of you, the shadow and the light, the wounds and the gifts, the fears and the dreams. You must look at yourself with total honesty. No more hiding, no more pretending, no more blaming others for your pain. You must own all of it, because only when you see yourself clearly can you begin to change. Self-forgiveness means you must release the guilt, the shame, and the regret you carry, not just from this life, but from all your lives. Cayce believed that many of the struggles we face today are echoes of mistakes we made long ago, karma that has followed us forward. And the only way to clear that karma is to forgive yourself, completely, deeply, unconditionally. To look at every choice you have ever made, even the ones that hurt others, and say, I was doing the best I could with what I knew at the time. I forgive myself. I release this. I am free. And finally, selfless service means you must give without expecting anything in return. You must love without needing to be loved back. You must help without needing recognition. You must teach without needing to be thanked. This is the hardest part, because the ego wants credit. The ego wants validation. The ego wants to be seen and praised and rewarded. But the soul does not care about any of that.
The soul only cares about love. And when you can serve from that place, from the soul instead of the ego, everything changes. You stop keeping score. You stop feeling resentful. You stop burning out, because you are no longer giving to get. You are giving because it is who you are.